مشاهدي سبوت شوت، اهلا وسهلا فيكم بحلقه جديده من برنامج وجهه نظر. وضيفي اليوم المتحدث الرسمي باسم قوات اليونيفيل في لبنان، اندريا تيننتي. Mr. Andrea, welcome to our show and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me in your show.
Mr. Tennenty, it was mentioned in Al-Akhbar newspaper, which is close to Hezbollah, that Israel may benefit from field surveillance conducted by certain UNIFIL units in southern Lebanon, potentially aiding in targeting vehicles belonging to Hezbollah field commanders. What can you say about this accusation?
Let me say that first, we don't comment directly to media reports, but it's important to say that information and poor information and dangerous misunderstandings that are portrayed through some reports can really paint a very distorted reality, a picture of the reality where we are working. UNIFIL is very transparent in the way that we are working, in close coordination with the Lebanese army, in support of the Lebanese army, at the request of the Lebanese government. So information like this, that they are completely unfounded and not true, can not only, of course, be potential trigger more disinformation about the mission, but they're very dangerous for the activities of the mission, for the activities of our troops that have been doing their utmost, not only in the last 6 months, but for a long time, to try to bring stability to the south of Lebanon, to also try in this period to de-escalate tension 24/7 and in full transparency, not only with the government of Lebanon, with the Lebanese army, and reporting everything to the Security Council. We are completely impartial. We don't have support for any party. So it's very important, and reports that they are misleading and they're not only bringing our voice out, they can be very, very dangerous.
Mr. Tennenty, the report also mentions that UNIFIL has a fixed point at one of the entrances to southern Litani, playing an advanced intelligence role in monitoring targeted vehicles. Can you clarify the actual purpose and function of this fixed point?
We have patrolling and activities throughout the Arab operations. And there are points together with the Lebanese army at the entrance of the Litani River, where the Arab operation starts. And this is done in coordination with the Lebanese army. We are patrolling the Arab operation in coordination with the Lebanese army. There is no such a thing as surveillance activities. Our activities are fully transparent. And what has been portrayed again can be very dangerous for the work that we are carrying out to try to bring back stability in the south of Lebanon. We are not only working in patrolling and assisting and supporting the Lebanese army, we are also doing a lot of work in support of local communities. So this is important to emphasize. This is what has been done for a long time. So false accusations could put again at risk women and men of UNIFIL that have been working with dedication, especially in the last period. We all been under, fire, and we continue to see daily shelling, and we do our utmost to try to deconflict situation. Also, we're liaising in coordination with the parties.
Mr. Tennenty, could you provide an update on the latest developments regarding the investigation into the explosion that targeted the ceasefire monitoring team last March in Ermesh? And is it true that the UNIFIL are leaning towards adopting Israel's narrative that it was a previously planted bomb by Hezbollah in the area?
The investigations will be given to the parties. So what we have said already, that the preliminary reports are just saying that the explosions was not caused by direct or indirect fire. Was probably a landmine. We have not said anything else. So there is no accusing anyone. Their reports will give even transparently when it's done to the parties. So to preempt the report or the end of an investigation is very serious. It's very serious because this has not been done. And again, it's very important to maintain transparency and clarity in everything that the mission is doing. Again, we are not taking any side, and we continue to work to try to de-escalate the situation in South Lebanon.
There are some news that the UNIFIL commander visited Israel lately and met with Israeli officers, coinciding with a modification in the redeployment plan previously laid out by the UN to evacuate some of its border positions, and also coincided with a decision asking international staff to consider Tyre and its suburbs as unsafe areas and to relocate their families to Beirut. What do these changes mean after the visit?
First, Lieutenant General Lazaro has not gone to Israel this month. Liaising and coordination with the parties, it's what we are doing. The important role of the mission is the only organization that can talk to both sides. And this is what both sides want. The two countries are at war. They don't have relations. We are the only organization that keeps liaising and coordination with the parties, but to de-escalate tension, to prevent dangerous misunderstandings that could potentially lead to a wider conflict. This we have been doing forever, since 2006. In the last 6 months, of course, we have increased our liaison and coordination with the parties. This is a very valuable tool we have to exchange messages and to have UNIFIL as the main organization to do that. This has been helping in decreasing tension. So there is no redeployment of troops. The troops are still there. The troops have not moved. The troops are still within their bases. We are still carrying out 400 activities per day in coordination with the Lebanese army. This has not changed. There is no repositioning of bases. This is completely not true. And we are still here. Of course, we have contingency plans that have been done from the very beginning of the mission. All missions in the world, any organization has contingency plans in case of emergency. And the fact that here that the families are not in Tyre, this happened in October, not now. For precautionary measures, safety and security of our staff is paramount. So families are being relocated, but staff like me, civilians, peacekeepers, people that are working for the mission, they're still in the south of Lebanon. We're still working there. So the information are really misleading, and they are not they are not basically information they could have received from us if they talked to us.
How would you characterize the prevailing field condition in southern Lebanon today? And is there a discernible risk of escalation leading to a broader conflict, maybe?
Well, the situation is concerning, is worrying, and this has been concerning for the last 6 months. We have seen exchanges of fires since October. I would like to add that most of the exchanges of fire has been close to the blue line, 5-6 kilometers in either side of the blue line. But recently we have seen also an escalation with more targeted explosions and shelling. And definitely this is concerning. As I said, is a sporadic escalation depending on the day. And that's why it's important for the parties to understand that there is no military solution. There is only a diplomatic and political solution to de-escalate the situation. Because after 6 months of escalation, a possible misunderstandings or several miscalculations actually could potentially trigger to a wider conflict. And that's what we are trying to avoid. But we have to be all together in trying to deconflict this situation and find solutions. You know, false informations and the disinformation does not help. It only leads to more problems and escalation.
We're hearing lately in Lebanon some news about that the UNIFIL have secret missions in areas outside the south. Is it that true, or do its vehicles actually lose their way in some areas?
The only time we go to the north is when troops are going back to the airport using specific routes. It has happened that a few times vehicles lost their ways, making the wrong turns, but has been bluntly and amply explained to everyone, and they were immediately rerouted to the right side. GPS are not always precise, but this has happened really a few times, and everything has been clarified, so there is no other activities outside the area of operation. I would not see why we would have other things around the airport area. So this is just done because of mistakes that were made. But again, the area of operation is the only place where we're operating, and we are only using the route to go back to specific area. We also have an office in Beirut. We have a maritime task force at the port that sometimes is not mentioned. We have ships at sea that are monitoring Lebanese territorial waters. So there are these kind of activities at sea, but our area of operation is in the south of Lebanon.
The last question, Mr. Tennenty, there have been reports suggesting that Lebanon has received warnings of a potential significant military operation by Israel in the near future. Can you confirm or provide insight into the validity of these reports?
We don't have information about these reports. We are discussing the situation with the parties constantly, and Lebanese authorities, Lebanese army. Of course, we have our liaison and coordination with the Israeli side, but that's part, of course, of our mandate. And our role is to de-escalate the situation. So we don't have other informations in relation to what you just have mentioned. But again, after all these months of conflict, it's important to really focus on de-escalation and to go back to a political and diplomatic solution.
The UN spokesman, Mr. Andrea Teinenty, thank you for your time and have a great day.
You too, thank you.
مشاهدينا الكرام، هيك بنكون وصلنا لختام الحلقة. شكرا لمتابعتكم وإلى اللقاء.